there's music, how faint the tune. Somewhere there's heaven, how high the moon. The darkest night would shine if love will come too soon. Till it comes true that you love me, 'cause I love you. Somewhere there's music, how near, how far. Somewhere there's heaven, it's where you are. The darkest night will shine if love will come too soon. Until you will still my heart, how high the moon.
Hi, my name is Tom Doyle, and I'm here at the Guernsey's auction, and I've been in the business of repairing, rebuilding, playing, and restoring guitars for the past 50 years. And also I'm a performer. I play in whatever you can think of. So between playing and performing, that's how I met Les Paul. Initially what happened was I was playing out with my sister and my mother and father, and someone had sent a telegram to Mr. Les Paul. And he called my mother and father and said, "I'm coming to see these kids tonight, don't tell them." This is late 65, early 66. And we were doing a tribute to Les Paul and Mary Ford and got done with a song. We were doing a multiple recording on stage. And this gentleman walks up and he says, "Hi, my name is Les Paul. I want you to come up to my house tomorrow. You and Susan and your mother and father, come up to my house." And that was the beginning of working with Les Paul. He had been retired and didn't feel he should be playing again because his hands were bad with arthritis. And not only that, the kids would relate to me, Tom, you know, and I said, "Les, you should play again. Just, you should really show them what it's all about. You're the guy that started everything." Les had a guitar given to him from Ted McCarty from Gibson Guitar Company. And Les was always involved with the Gibson Guitar Company. But the point was now they realized they had to catch up to Leo Fender, who was the first one to make a production-made guitar with a bolt-on neck. And so at that point, Gibson was behind and realized we have to go with a guy who can really show this off. Well, Les Paul had a number of great big hits. He had sold, 15 million records. And so they figured they should be looking closely at this man, because if they can see a guitar that's a Gibson solid body guitar with Les Paul playing it, now we could get in the business of competition with Fender and a number of other upstarts at the time. The first guitar was the gold top, of course, that had a number of problems with it. And so the reason for the Black Beauty is because Ted McCarty, the president of Gibson, wanted to appease this great genius, Mr. Les Paul. And the both of them got together, and that's how Black Beauty came about. That with all of the proper iterations and the right things on that guitar would make it really playable. And Les and Mary would play that on their gigs and on their performances. They had this radio show, they're on the road, and the people from Warner Lambert loved what they heard on the radio and asked Les and Mary, "Can you come out to New Jersey? We'd love to have you be out here where we could do a weekly show," which would probably be once a day, but Les figured it should be 3 times a day. It was a 5-minute show, and that was Les Paul and Mary Ford at home. So it started as a radio show, ended up as a television show. And that's how he could promote that beautiful Black Beauty. And that little show really promoted the electric guitar. And this is where Black Beauty comes in. It was the one that he began to play full-time on his shows, as well as doing live performances with Mary. It says Les Paul Custom. Think of the name, Les Paul Custom. And he has the first prototype from Gibson, and it's been the guitar he's been looking for a long time. But sound is another story, so Les is always chasing sound. So he was always changing, looking for the best sound he could get out of that guitar, or any guitar, but especially the Black Beauty at the time of 1954, when it started to come out for the public. They could buy one. And Les, being the consummate salesman, here he is showing you how he can play. They even called it the fretless wonder, because it would be easy to play. It's so easy to play. The Black Beauty, with your hands on it, you could see everything he was doing, because now this was, all that movement was really exciting to watch. Here I am as a kid at 13 watching this, going, my gosh, how am I going to play like this man? Once he got this guitar, and then Mary got one also, Now they wouldn't even play the gold top guitars anymore. They were always seen with these two guitars until much later, almost to the end of their career. Then they started using some white guitars also, which Les thought that would look good with a black tuxedo, this with a white tuxedo. Here Les did all of these iterations, all these changes. He also gave me a lot of the changes, and exactly in the Guernsey catalog you'll see those changes that we have photographed to show how it came to what we know as the last iteration as it is now. And then I have 2 iterations before, which I show in the catalog. I never really was a collector as such, but I certainly knew all about collecting, because when somebody would bring me a vintage guitar, I'd have to know about those guitars. There was no way around it. You better know what you're doing on something that's collectible. If you don't, you just change the value by tremendous amounts. So a collectible guitar is one thing. A historical guitar is something else. And looking behind me, that's what we have behind us. There's 2 historically great guitars. Collectible in the sense that they should be in museums. And so a guitar that just anybody owns, and it's had it for many years, and it was a 1959 Les Paul, that's great too. That's a production guitar. It's not what we have behind us. These are especially made for these 2 great artists. This was a great, what I would call benchmark of the electric guitar. And it was Les's grail, you know what I mean? This is what he was using. Without him to play and be on television playing previous to that time, there would be no guitar players, electric guitar players like we know later on, which started 10 or 11 years later, where they really realized what Les was all about. He was the greatest of all time.
This night would shine if love would come to you soon. Until you will